Hi everyone. I will present in English, but I won't pretend that I don't understand Russian. So if you will have some questions, you can easily ask it in Russian as well. But my presentation will run in English. Today will be an interesting speech for me because it will be more like an experiment. Some of us, after this speech, will think that, oh my God, who called Captain Obvious to the conference. But I hope that everyone will have some conclusions. So, let's start. Are you ready? Yeah, awesome. I will ask you to interact with me somehow. Please, don't shy. Don't hesitate to raise your hands and say something. It's really important for me. And let's start with the universal product management, and I'll tell you a bit about myself, what I'm doing, and how I came to the idea of this universal product management. This is nice animation you probably won't see. So I had a startup and where we developed mobile products. It was amazing days when App Store was growing and you literally have free users without any additional costs. We analyzed App Store search. We are looking for new problems people trying to solve with their mobile devices, and we just deliver product for them to solve these problems. So the acquisition cost literally zero, and it was premium product. So overall, our apps was downloaded over 10 million times. And then, making product after the product after the product, I started to see some repeatable patterns that we do for every product. And then, as a good product manager, I decided to run an experiment, and we've developed a game. With no experience in game design, in game development, we knew nothing about the games, only as players, using the same principles we used to create photo sharing app. Who made a game using experience created a photo sharing app? I think that there's no many people, but actually we've created the game, and we've returned all of our investments and even exceeded it, and Apple featured this game. It was one of the parts why we returned our investments, but people who made before scanner, photo sharing app, audio player created a game, and Apple featured this game. Then I joined Riddle. Riddle is a product company behind these awesome products. Please raise your hands who have at least one of these products on their mobile. Okay. We have more things to do here. Just checking who have iOS, iPhone or iPad. Okay, so if you have iOS, please open today, not right now, but later. Please open App Store, find Riddle there, and I think that some of these apps will be helpful. You'll find them interesting at least. So I joined Riddle as a product manager for documents product. And it was an interesting time because back then, 5 years ago, I didn't join the team because I had only my office table as a direct report. It was a product donated by other products, so it wasn't profitable at all. Today, big team, very talented people, over 35 people work on documents, and this is one of the most successful company's products 5 years after. And documents as a product is very complicated. It's a super app. It's popular world today because it combines a lot of stuff like file management, sharing, browser, even VPN, audio player, about the 20 different viewers you can find in documents, so you can solve all your tasks with files with this product. And it's really hard to develop this product just because you don't have a lot of examples. Again, to develop this product, to evolve it, to make it successful, both from user perspective, from business perspective, we don't have a lot of examples. And again, we use the same principles I used to develop our small productivity app with a clear task. We used to develop a game, and it helped us to make documents a successful business, multi-million business actually already today. And finally, the latest title is connected to the war in Ukraine. I'm not sure why we can see here a map. Okay. So, as you know, the war has started. Russia invaded into our country, and our small community of top product managers in Ukraine created charity foundation. We had nothing, no skills, no knowledge about charity, about logistics, about equipment for the army. But 8 months later, Kola became one of the most noticeable funds, charity foundations in Ukraine. And in Kola, as a co-founder, I'm mostly responsible for creating products to raise money, to collect money from people who want to help Ukraine win. And here are 3 products we've created. The first one is Colonna. It's a subscription, about $20 a month for people who donate out every month to help army. The second is Happy Cola. It is a project where you can create some event, like any event. It may be happy birthday, it may be birthday, anniversary, new job, and invite your friends to celebrate this event with you by donating to our charity foundation and leaving comments. And finally, Cola Kava, Cola Coffee is for micro donations, where you can buy a virtual cup of coffee and receive some fun profits. And overall, today, this product generates about $5 million of annual recurring donations. And as you can see, like, this is a charity foundation, and it has nothing with documents, with photo sharing, or with games. But all of this was created with the same principles, really simple principles. Most of you know all these principles, but I think it's important to highlight this. So I think that good metaphor will be Lego, because you have some small blocks, and there is no sense in these blocks. But knowing how to fit them together, you can create literally anything. And to create this anything, and when the limit only the imagination, you need to have these blocks and knowing how to fit them together. Because when we see only the final output, like a flight here, it's really hard to reproduce. There is such a, interesting use case from Malaysia. Who knows about cargo cult that happened there? Okay, long story short, US Army flying there, and natives who lived there, who wasn't technically advanced, like any advanced technology may appear as magic, so they started to think that there's not flights, it's gods. They drop cargoes with some goods, and they started to believe that these gods is sending gifts for them. And then they start recreate their gods. They build planes literally from sticks and shit. And as you can see, this plane looks like the real plane, but here is one problem: it doesn't fly. But it looks the same, and we can make fun from this, like naive natives who recreate these planes. But then on Monday we're back to our office, open some fancy website, see new solutions, and oh my god, Dropbox has a great referral problem, we should do the same. And we built our plane from shit and sticks. And what I really want us to discuss today is to define how to create understanding the basics. So today there will be 3 first principles, 3 basic elements, and it's not all of them, yeah, but 3 I think the most important. And before we continue for the long intro, I think it was important. let's align on our approach. Overall, you can find on the internet, on other conferences, three-measure approach of product development, of running business. It's a data-driven approach, vision-driven approach, and user-driven approach. Data-driven approach is when you measure everything, you test everything, you run experiments, analyzing data, make decisions only based on data. And it's great. You have to do this. It's definitely like a requirement. But when you turn it to the max, you became something like this cat on the robot cleaner, because you just, okay, let's move this in this direction. Oh, okay, here's the wall. Let's turn back. Another wall. Okay, but the problem with the cat doesn't have any problems. But as a product manager, like Cat may be a product manager on the data-driven product, data is really expensive approach. Whoever created a product or run a startup knows how expensive to attract new users. To collect data, you need time, you need money, and you can't rely only the data because of one simple fact. Data is an information about the past. It won't tell you, it will tell you nothing about the future. A robot cleaner has to cover the entire surface. And that's why it's effective to run it around before it covers the entire surface. But we as a people who create product, we run on the infinitive service with a high level of uncertainty. And we have this, like in real-time strategy, they have this like fog of war, when you don't see what is behind your vision. That's why data is cool, but it's not enough. So the next approach is vision-driven, is okay, I don't care about users, I don't care about data, I have a vision, I know what the future has to be, and we go in this direction. And of course it's great, nice to have, but if we don't care about data and about users, we just, okay, we built business here, looks nice place, I like it, I see the future, this is my vision, and he's done, but unfortunately, it wasn't a good decision. But vision is vision, and we go to look for a job instead of, and remove CEO from our Facebook page. And finally, user-driven approach. And the most like vivid example of a user-driven approach is like Henry Ford, who said that if he asked his customer what they want, they would answer faster horse. And because users, people who use your product, they own the problem. This is their problem, and they're experts in their problem. But they're not expert in solution. They don't know technologies, they don't have to understand what AI means or how user experience should be built. They don't care, they need to solve their problems. So people own the problem, but you own solution. And you never ask people what solution should be. You build it according to user's problem. So instead of this fancy and great approach like data-driven, vision-driven, and user-driven, when we will go deeper with our basic elements and first principles, I would suggest to use one approach, and I call it common sense-driven approach. Very powerful thing, really, really powerful. Often you don't need to check everything. When it's common sense, it's quite enough to make a decision even without data, vision, and users. So, and using this amazing approach, I hope we will share it. Let's see, let's define, like we speak about product management, and we need to understand where is product and what does management mean. So, using our common sense approach, we can define everything we do, that we have a business, right? Because product is always a part of a business. And we have people who use this product. And what happens is that business and people exchanges value. People gives value solving people's problems, and people gives value to the business with money. pretty obvious, right? It's not always only about money, but about attention. But anyway, the users always gives value, and business has to deliver value. And in the middle, this value exchange happens. And products we build is the place where this value exchange happens. So our products is the place where value exchange between business and people happens. You follow me? Yeah, it's not very complicated. So as a product managers who manage the product, we need to at first see that it is repeatable. It's not enough to repeat only once. It should running and running and running and running again and again. You can find an iPhone on the street and you can sell it, but it won't be repeatable. It's not a business. It's just a lucky situation. And another, more importantly, is to scale this business. And this is what we do. We scale value exchange between business and people. This is what any product manager does. This is ultimate goal we all have. And continue with the common sense. The goal of a business is to make profits. And profit is when revenue is higher than costs. Again, common sense. I see people who go out the conference. No, I'm kidding. No. The more we integrate our businesses into IT world, or we own IT business, we replace this revenue and cost, simplified it with two basic metrics. It's a lifetime value and customer acquisition cost. Because other costs, because in IT, you don't have marginal cost on creation a new copy of your product. Like, we have documents, and right now, at this second, about 100 people downloaded this app. And we spend nothing to deliver these 100 copies to our users. That's why we remove this marginal cost. Or some businesses have marginal cost, but it scales with the business, but on the different pace, like much slower than customer acquisition cost. And customer acquisition cost is the only metric that scales with the business, with the revenue. And overall, we can, it's wrong button. So this is just how we can present it, that lifetime value is lifetime value. This is value business received from a customer. It's a value multiplied by a lifetime user spent with our product. And finally, customer acquisition cost is acquisition cost we spend on the number of customers we acquired. And here we have only two simple questions every product manager has to answer, is how to increase lifetime value and how to decrease customer acquisition cost. If you have a backlog with ideas, with initiatives, with some changes inside your product, you can look at it and you will find that all of them can be divided only on these two categories. It increases lifetime value or decreases customer acquisition costs. And it simplifies actually everything, because we have many hypotheses, but we have only two types of hypotheses. They are value hypothesis about value for users or lifetime value, and hypothesis about growth, how to acquire more users. That's simple. So, and our complicated systems, we can shrink just for these two questions. And if you do something and you can see how it increases lifetime value or how it decreases customer acquisition cost, probably you shouldn't do this. It's just useless activity. High chances, at least. I don't say that like it is, but anyway. So, and this is the first principle of three first principles. Sorry for this. That product is a part of a business, and business has to drive profits, and for this we need to answer on these two questions again and again. How to increase lifetime value, how to decrease customer acquisition cost. Sounds simple? Yeah. Unfortunately, it's simple, it only sounds simple. Here I'll give you an example. We have this universal turbo ultra super approach of subscription. It's a life changer. You see it everywhere. You download any product from the App Store and you see this amazing screen. Get for free, continue, subscribe, start free trial. It's really hard to find any app on the App Store where you won't see some of these screens, right? Really complicated, really hard. And oh my God, this is this plane from sticks and shit that actually flies, right? Finally, we have this silver bullet to solve our problems. But the problem here is that short term, of course, it works. But long term, every tactics, because subscription is a tactic, follow the next path. Like we have effectiveness on the y-axis and time on the x-axis. I think it's pretty clear. So at first, we have a tactic discovered. And everyone excited with it, like, oh my God, amazing, we've just increased our revenue and business, etc. Let's optimize it. And effectiveness of these tactics increases again. But now everyone around you, we live in a very connected world, and everyone sees what we do. And oh my God, your neighbor, the other team discovered that this is effective tactics, and it became widely adopted. It's not something new. It's not like advantage. It's like everyone has it. And then people start to get tired from this tactic, and we see a tactic fatigue. And now, it's something like 15 years, 20 years ago, internet or having a site in the internet was an improvement, advancement, unfair advantage, I would say. But today, internet is like having a toilet in your office. You don't say on your website, we have toilet in our office, because it's obvious, you have to have it. And this is what happens with a successful tactic. And we can see even, sorry, I have mobile, mostly mobile examples, but it works like everywhere. This is a cross that represents close button on the payment screen. And when subscription was discovered, like, okay, subscription, here is how to close the payment screen. But then people started to optimize it. And maybe we should make it like not so visible. Why? We don't need to shout on people how to close this screen, right? But then the tactics started to be widely adopted, and maybe we should make it smaller. Because again, we deliver a value, it's okay. But then people trying to look for this cross because it was everywhere. And the first idea, people see how to close this fucking screen. And of course, what product managers do is like, okay, guys, you ask, we do. Now it's almost literally impossible to find how to close this payment screen. Nice job, right? Why it happens, like we have these two lines of lifetime value and customer acquisition cost, and lifetime value should be higher than customer acquisition cost. But because of this cargo-cooled approach and the speed how we exchange the information, actually these two lines merges together. You increase your lifetime value, you increase customer acquisition cost. And if you have a low time to value, you have to use low customer acquisition cost approaches like virality or SEO or user-generated content. Like if your business model is advertisement, this is only your options. Like Medium, for instance, website where you can post a blog post, they use mostly user-generated content as a SEO strategy for acquisition. But now you can say, okay, we'll add subscription and we'll sell our product to customers. But problem here is that another guys are here and they are ready to pay for your customers as well. And we have to pay for our customers, and we run paid marketing. The higher our LTV, the higher competition, and we hire our sales department. And sales department, believe me, costs a lot. We compete with our B2B, it's mostly B2B niche. It's not about consumers, because consumers often not ready to pay these checks so high. And finally, enterprise, and it's about enterprise sales, and it doubles from the inside sales, because you it's not enough just to hire a salesperson. You need a bunch of them. You need customer success. You need to hire a lot of people to run enterprise sale. So the main idea is that we need to make LTV growth. So we can add new features, increasing value for our customers. And the problem here is that moving this way, anyone else can copy your features if it works. So there is another answer I would share with you, like one of our approaches is value nurturing. Because many people focuses on the size of the close button, but don't focus on delivering the value to its customer, because many of us think that it's enough that there is a value and it's your problem to find it. But actually no, it is our problem to explain and deliver this value to our customers. And instead of focusing on the size of a cross button, probably we should focus on value delivery to our users and nurture value for them. This is how like innovation can happen. I have an example of how it works in documents. We have smart actions. This is like a small banner. It opens on the bottom of the screen. It's just like if you tap on it, you can see more options here. And depending on the file format you interact with, we offer you with the best next action, which is available in our products. Of course, you can open the file, you can open the interface, select the needed tab, and then find this feature. But if we already know what is the next best action might be, we recommend it to you. You don't need to understand how our PDF viewer works. If you need to sign your document, you just hit sign, and it opens in this regime. So the same here, it's an options menu for file where you can copy, move, compress what you await from file manager, but also we've added there reduce file size or set password. This feature helpful when you are ready to share the file. Maybe you need to share it via email and you need to compress it. So instead of making you open this file and looking for where is this reduce file size feature, we show you it on the very top of the list. So you don't need to look for it. We made this job for you. And this similar example, but when you add files to documents, we not only add file to documents, but we show you what capabilities it unlocks for you. And you can choose instantly what to do next. So it's not about adding file to the product, but you can, for instance, hit manage pages, and you will see this file in the pages management mode. Actually, we run only smart actions menu, and those extensions will be like, the release will be December 6th. So lucky guys and girls who have iPhone, please download documents and wait for the release on the December 6th. But here are some numbers only from smart action. And this is double digits, triple digit increase on the key metrics, including overall retention. And those of you who measure retention knows that this is 5 minutes, really? Oh my God. I only started. Okay, I'll speed up. Okay, it worked well. So to simplify, this is another 4 questions just, and let's move to the next. And this is about the product. Well, it's the important thing. And this is not about like solution, but more about approach. Because scientists, they know how to work in a highly unpredictable environment, how to work with high level of uncertainty, and they made this scientific method. So why don't we use it in our products? Because we work in the same environment, but we don't know what is going on. Who is aware what scientific method is? How does it work? Really? Oh my God! Can I get 5 minutes more? Okay, so quickly, it's really simple. You saw some evidence of it from demo, for instance. It starts with observation. You observe what is going on around you, and you started to notice something interesting, and maybe we should to look deeper in this interesting activity. So we start to research based on our observation. We ask people, we run surveys, we run interviews, ask experts, we run researches, and finally we have a hypothesis. Like, we believe that by X will change Y, for instance. So hypothesis is our prediction of how the world works. And then we are ready to run an experiment. We have to design our experiment according to the hypothesis. After running the experiment, we have the first step is results and analytics, and finally conclusions and next steps based on results and analytics. Looks simple, right? Nothing, it's not a rocket science. Why conclusions, next steps are important? Because they're actually laid into the ground of the next observations. And we have this cycle where we observe, research, make a hypothesis, experiment, results, analytics, conclusion, next steps. But the problem here, according to what I see on different teams and different products, is distribution between these activities like this. Everyone does experiments, like everyone. Most of us use results analytics, but you see, like almost no one makes hypotheses. It's so strange, actually, because without hypothesis, we don't have an option to learn, because we don't know what to check. We just make some experiment, have some numbers, we win or we lose, and that's it. But if we only, okay. I'm not sure how to proceed, because I can just click really fast, because I'm a little in timeout. Huh? Yeah, I can? Guys, maybe you want to change the speaker and you bored with me? Please just let me know, okay? But I tried. Sorry for this. I promised that it will be out of time. So I'm man of a word. So this is what I do. The important part of this hypothesis, it's not about if we make a color of this button red, then we'll see higher conversion. No. Hypothesis is about people and their actions. It's not about just our actions, but about actions of our users. Like, it's a bad hypothesis that by coloring this button in red will increase our conversion rate. This is a terrible hypothesis, because if it will win, okay. If it falls, nothing. You learn nothing. So hypothesis should be like, in China, red is a color of success and luck, which is true, by the way. So by making this purchase button red, we'll see the increase of conversion, because this is a good color for Chinese people. And then, if we see that we have like this output, we can make a conclusion that our hypothesis is true. Another trap is in results analytics, because there is correlation and there is a causation. Causation when our input and output highly connected. But correlation is just the changes, but they don't connect. A good example might be that this is a global average temperature and number of pirates. So as you can see, the less pirates we have, the higher global average temperature, and the solution is stop global warming, become a pirate. Who are ready to become a pirate after this presentation? Okay, guys, nice. We should run an experiment together. Who have a ship? But it's easy for us to understand why it doesn't work, because like global average temperature is here and pirates are there, and we understand they are not connected. But when we run experiments inside our product, oh my God, and if this experiment was successful, of course it's because of our actions. Obviously, because we are genius, right? This is another trap with analytics, that when we lose, we learn. Of course, we want to understand what is going on, why, where, what was our mistake. But if we win, we don't learn. We just, okay, I am cool. I am a pretty smart person. So we miss causation with correlation and don't learn from wins. I recommend to change it if you do this way. So to make it, so we've made this scientific method as a part of our approach, of our planning, of our initiatives. Product manager, product marketing manager has to write down their hypothesis. This is like our internal system for planning. And it has to be a part of the process. And here's a few examples. Let's make a small interactive. Here's two screens. They are about the same. I'll show payment screen. It's not because we run experiments only about payment screen, but it's the most obvious example. Like everyone have payment screen in their products, but not everyone have PDF files in their products, for instance. So the same subscription, make your PDF life easy, really easy, cool, calm, and get PDF superpowers, like a nice video here is running, a really fancy and expensive payment screen. Who believes that screen on the right won? Okay. Who believes that screen on the left won? Okay. And the answer is here, 67%. And you see, we don't iterate the color of a button. There are literally two different options, absolutely, because it's much easier to find the difference instead of rotating your color or font size, make a big bets, finding answers much faster. You need much less traffic to understand. Okay, with this product, with Make Like Your PDF Easy, we have a hypothesis. Okay, we finally find our value proposition. It's about easy PDF life. And then we run another experiment, like with Get PDF Superpowers, because we think, okay, it's just about the screen. It's light, button is orange, it's vivid, clear, we can recognize it, but let's put our original message, Get PDF Superpower, because it's superpower, it's cool. And who believes that screen on the right win? Okay, who believes that screen on the left one? Oh my God, so many people believe in superpowers, people. Okay, and the result was this one. We literally couldn't find the difference. It wasn't about superpower, it wasn't about life easy, it was about the screen. And maybe this girl on it, but our hypothesis that the reason our observation and the next experiment was maybe it's about free trial. And we've made another screen, focusing on the get 7 days of free of PDF editing and just noticing if you like really another example. So maybe it's a free trial. Let's repeat our join us who don't. Like who will, it's really easy to participate, you see? You need to only raise your hand. Make your life PDF easy of 1. Okay, okay. Think about twice. And get 7 days of free PDF editing. Oh my God, you became better in experiments. You're absolutely right. This experiment showed better results in terms of conversion. But then we've decided to go even further and make the stupidest experiment possible, like focusing only on free trial. It's like idiotic stuff, because you can see when you notice this feature on the Access 50 Plus Premium Action Professional PDF editing, and everything, the entire screen is about just to make sure what is going on. And the final step, like, who believed that screen on the right won? Nobody? Okay, thank you very much. Screen on the left? Okay, guys. I said that you may become better in predictions. You're absolutely right. So 32% better. The screen about free trial, not about mentioning, like, what we are offering. What with you people? And the reason for this was because people want to try the product. It's not enough to put your features on the payment screen. They're looking for an option how to test it by themselves. So this screen currently is on the documents, but there are a bunch of different experiments. And my final part is about people. Yeah, it's really important because we need people to use our products. We need actions from people. And according to different research, there are 3 stages before performing an action. The first is the cognitive stage, when we notice something changes. Then affective stage, when we make a decision. Emotionally, we understand what is going on, we make a decision. And finally, behavior stage, we act, we do something, what we saw. And there, like a very popular framework like AIDA, in the movie Glenn Ross was this framework like awareness, it's a cognitive stage, interest and desire, it's affective stage, and finally action on the behavior stage. But it happened that there are a bunch of these frameworks. What is the best one? I don't know, there are many of them. But I can offer you a really simplified version of it. It's like Dr. B.J. Fogg said, okay, any action requires only three things: trigger, motivation to perform an action, and ability to perform an action. And it's not rocket science again, because if there is no trigger, for instance, the phone is ringing, but you can hear this sound or feel the vibration, will the action be performed? No, because you don't know that it's ringing. Okay, we have a trigger, we see like it's like blinking, ringing, vibrating, but we don't have motivation to have it called. It's, oh my God, no, not today, I have more things to do. Will action be done? No, because it's not my motivation. And finally, ability, I don't know the example here, but okay, we see trigger, phone ringing, I really want to take a phone, but I don't know. Thank you for this radical example, no hands. Let's assume they're just tight, okay? Let's keep our hands at their places. But we don't have an ability to pick up the phone, and the action won't be performed. And when we design our screen, payment screen, new solution, like our interfaces, we need to remember that we want action from users, and we need to make sure that all three components are there. And the interesting thing that this is no 0 or 1. This is a gradient, like we have a high trigger, like something shouting on you or whispering or just showing me 5 minutes left 10 minutes ago. It was a small trigger. Or something run to the stage and removes me from it, it's a harder trigger. And the same with motivation. I can have a high motivation, low motivation, but have some level, and ability, high ability, low ability. So it's about like, there are options. So triggers may be external when someone put me out of the stage. It's an external, really external trigger, or push notifications on phone ringing, or internal when I have I internally made a decision, and this is my internal trigger. A bunch of different motivation, like urgency, scarcity, belonging, etc. And ability, it may be cheap, it may be easy, it may be fast, etc. It's all about ability. Here is an example of our onboarding flow, where we say, let's tune your experience and ask you a few questions to personalize your experience. What files, what feature are you expecting to use? And then we show this screen list tailoring your experience using answer on the previous screen. By the way, we faked it on the very beginning. But people really like how it animates, and they believe that this is like personalization is going. Now it is. But at first it wasn't. And then we ask you, leave your email address to receive personalized tips after our personalization, after your answers. And only then the experience showed. A few results, few metrics I can show here is that we saw triple digits increase for our target metrics. And how do you think, what was it about? Action was email subscription, allow push notification, and subscribe. Trigger, motivation, or ability? What was this entire initial flow was about? Who is for trigger? No one. Who is for motivation? Oh my God, you became so good. Yeah, I'm sorry, not talking about ability. Yes, it's about motivation. I download the product. I invested my time in it. I received personalized email about it. It's about motivation increases the more I invest into the product, the higher my motivation is. Okay, another example. This is like two different payment screens about the same Black Friday campaign launched recently. How do you think? Like it's a 5% off, or 3 months is on us of free documents plus? What is it about? Trigger, motivation, mostly, obviously there's of 3 of them, but my hypothesis is trigger, motivation, or ability. Ability, absolutely right. Because it's like I have a $80 price, but now I making it more available. It's about ability. Okay, and our usual game. Who we won? The screen on the right, screen on the left. Okay, nice try. Here result. Because ability of the left screen is much higher, because you still have to pay money, like take money from the pocket and put on the table. Instead, you have only 3 months for free, no commitment. Of course, it's a much higher ability comparing to the instant payment. When you don't ask for instant payment, it's always free trial is about ability. Okay, we're adding this upgrade button, trigger, ability, motivation, trigger, external, internal. Okay, guys, you are hired. Yeah, it's trigger because we have this trigger. It's external because it's not internal, obviously. And the last thing I wanted to highlight here is that it's all about context. Because our motivation, our ability changes over time, depending on our context. If it's the middle of the month and we've already spent the half of our salary, our ability to pay checks lower comparing to the beginning of the month. Or depending on time of the day, our motivation to pick up the phone, to perform some actions may be lower, may be higher. So always mind the context. And here is a quick example of how we use context. We have audio player, and in documents it plays audio. Okay, I said like Captain Obvious, but different use cases. If it's about music, you just need to skip the next to previous. But if you listen to long audiobooks, you need to skip and plus minus 15-30 seconds. But we have only 2 options, and we need to communicate to our users that there is an option to change your lock screen media player experience because we have it in settings deep inside the product. It's really hard to find this feature if you don't know where to look and that it's existed. And here's an example of when a user starts audio player, this is a perfect context to show him or her external trigger, saying, hey, customize controls of the player, because of the perfect context for this external trigger. And because we believe, because right now this is the highest motivation to perform the action. And by tapping we don't open a blog post how to change this lock screen, but we actually open the screen when the user can perform the action, making ability higher, so you can change it right away, and learning this way. So that's it. Sorry for this out of timing. Just thank you. Just a quick overview. So we need to make our lifetime value over customer acquisition cost. We don't understand, we don't know how to do it exactly. That's why we use scientific method to learn, and learn on the first place, win or lose is the second option. And finally, remember that we are working with people, and we need to make sure that there is trigger, motivation, and ability. Sorry, thank you for your losses, but you will have to applause me again in a few seconds. So to sum up, that we have many options, but I believe that great products is a combination of simple things put in the right order, and this is what we do, our job. That's it. Thank you very much for your opinion. I think there is no time for questions, so I'm just running off the stage. You're a brilliant audience. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.